Welcome to the Wednesday Team Prosperity Weekly Meeting. This meeting is a preset agenda that teaches you and goes over things that you can immediately put into your business coming out of this meeting for some positive effect. So we want to talk a little bit today about some things that have been going on. It's January the 19th, so you guys should be, past those holidays into the new year, starting to feel comfortable with a rhythm of activity. And guys, it's the activity that matter. So we always talk about we can do a lot from our side to help partners, help clients, but on the partner side especially, there's got to be activity. And the biggest issue that I see with partners not being successful here is, like we always talk about, nobody knew they were in business. You can't be a silent agent or a secret agent here. Last week, guys, we talked about learning how to scale your business, something very important, raising awareness for your persona issues, understanding who you're talking to, the problems and the messages that you're getting out that will resonate with that crowd. Understanding that healthy client relationships are not a one and done, they're ongoing. Committing to that digital factory blueprint, helping prospects know how they would possibly fail before getting started. Remember, preemptively overcoming some of that stuff on the client side. We're going to talk about the partner side today, and being aggressive to go out and make things happen. We're starting a new 12-week year, January 31st. What I'm hoping is it's going to be a little small core group that I can really work one-on-one with, because in the past, we've had a bunch of people sign up. By the second week, a lot of people dropped off. It's the psychological nature of most people. They get excited about doing something that will, help them with self-development, but then they don't do it. They don't show up. So I'm looking for a smaller group who are dedicated that we can really help get results over this quarter for. In the Facebook group, we will have a sign-up sheet as well as some additional information. Remember, that 12-week year is going to help you, take that strategy and execution gap and help tighten it up, because what you're thinking that you won't happen and what's actually happening, that gap, 12-week year will help you with that execution. Also, something that came up this week, the common market. We talk about the different types of markets that we approach and how we approach them. The common market is simply a loose affiliation with somebody that you really don't know. Could be a previous employer, could be a school alumni, could be a civic group. Gives you that kind of break the ice few moments to have that loose affiliation with somebody to get what you want out. And just like the warm market, if you're talking the common market, and you've established that loose affiliation, you've got that little bit of time, talk about the mission, what you're trying to do. See if you can get some of those people from your school, from a previous employer, understanding what you're doing, see if you can possibly help them in one or more ways. Remember, the common market is a lot about networking. You're just kind of going out there, seeing what people are doing from your old school, from your old employer, just having a conversation about what's going on. Also, the best time to ask for reviews and referrals from your clients is not when you're getting revenue recognitions. Now, it's not the sale point. It's about maybe you're helping them, at a later point after the sale with something that's not involving revenue or income recognition for you. Best time to ask for reviews and referrals is when you're doing something you're not getting paid for. That's when the clients are realizing the value of that relationship. It's the best time to ask. Also, contact your team. Now, if you've got somebody coming in, they're doing absolutely nothing. We're not raising the dead. We're not dragging people with us. But especially in the beginning, we talk about the fact that a partner coming in, that recruitment process is still, once they come in, probably in another 90-day process, because they got to get comfortable. They've got to get inundated with our company, our culture, our process. It's not about bringing somebody in, just throwing them out and seeing what happens. If that's your business model, going to be a lot of activity with little to no results or money. Lots and lots of communication with your clients, with your partners, making sure people know you're available to help them on both sides. We want that strong partner relationship, and we want that strong client relationship, because that builds our business, builds the foundation of our business, and gets that user-generated content, reviews, referrals, all the stuff that we're looking for. So we've been talking about over the past number of months, the amount of people that are leaving, the workforce, looking for new ways to produce income, looking for new freedoms, whatever it is they're specifically wanting to do and their reason for leaving. There's a lot of people on the move now. That's a good thing for us as we're going out and talking to people about getting them what they want. Remember, it's not about a business opportunity. It's not about recruitment. It's not about pitching. It's about just, trying to find out what somebody wants, helping them identify how they're going to get there. What are they willing to do to get there? And how do you fit in? Because along the way, you have to understand that that partnership that you're trying to make, we talked about this before the meeting was starting, but time, energy, resources, money goes behind these people. So it's got to be a good fit. It's got to be mutually beneficial on both sides, and there's got to be a commitment there. So we're not trying to qualify and open our arms up and our doors as wide as possible, let everybody in. We're trying to disqualify, and through that disqualification process, we're finding the qualified candidates. One of the things that you guys got to make sure that you understand is, what is your primary motivation for recruiting? I don't recruit to sell products. I recruit to build a foundation that's going to help me with distribution. If you're out there following that model, then you have to understand, if somebody's not a qualified partner, you've disqualified them, we're not bringing them in to sell them a product. Now we're pivoting over to the client side, because that's the effective way to manage your pipeline. Everybody's wired different. Talking to somebody who, for example, is fed up with the healthcare industry, they've been overworked, they're tired, they don't feel valued, and they're looking to make a move. You have to understand that everybody's wired different. That's what makes the world go around. That's okay. When you're talking to these people, if you get in, and once again, if you disqualify this person during the conversation, they might have other ways we can help them on the client side. Don't just, eject, try to extract value, pivot that conversation. At the end of the day, your partners that you're looking for are dedicated distribution partners. We're trying to build nationwide distribution of products and services. That's going to happen with a core group of people that we can rely on, that will help us manage the branches and the virtual teams across the country. This is not what we want to see. You don't want to bring somebody in and on the first day, week, month, they realize this isn't for them. They can't do it. It's over their head. They want a job, whatever it might be. To give you a quick example, we brought in a few people that got from the pandemic, were laid off. They were on government programs, whether that be self-employed, whether that be whatever it might be, unemployment. And you would think that they had that bridge, that financial security for X period of time to build their business. But you know what they did? They sat on their hands until the last minute when that program was over, and they freaked out, not having any money. They go to a job. So guys, understand who you're bringing in, who you want to bring in, and this will help you. Let's talk about some different things that can possibly go on and needs to go on your head, and potentially the conversation, to understand who makes a good fit and who doesn't. What's your potential partner's financial situation? I just gave you an example about that. If a financial situation is going to be such that it brings on stress and it brings on all these other constraints from being able to allow that person to go out and build a business, that could be an obstacle or a roadblock that we can't help overcome. And that goes back to those people trying to make the bridge. If you need to make your mortgage or your rent payment in 2 weeks, you have no money, you need a job. This is a bridge from employment to self-employment. And then once again, when you're talking to those people who are making that bridge, if you're working 8-9 hours a day and you're coming home, what are you going to do? You're going to sit there and watch TV? You're just going to hang out? Or are you going to work on your business? Because that time period where you do both or have to do both can be frustrating, but you're not going to get to freedom without some type of sacrifice in the middle. Also, what's the potential partner's expectations of the time involved? How many hours are they willing to put into this a week? If you get an answer of 5, that conversation on the partner side is done. You can pivot if appropriate to the client side, but we need at least part-time hours. We need at least 15 hours a week. And that 15 hours a week doesn't mean attending meetings, studying stuff, looking at YouTube videos. That's direct activity. If somebody doesn't have enough time to put in this business, then it's cheating you of your time to think that you can bring them in and make something a successful relationship. Once again, pivot over to the client side when appropriate. Is your potential partner's commitment to the business as strong as yours? If you want to make this happen and you want to see this through, you want to surround yourself with other people that want to make it happen and see it through. So talk about your vision. Talk about what you see out of this business. Talk about what you're trying to accomplish. if you're not getting that same emotion and that feedback that you're looking for, if they're kind of just like, just ho-hum about everything, then once again, is that a partner that you really want to bring in and put time, energy, resources behind? Is there something in your potential partner's family life that may make the business a secondary interest? Now, we all got stuff going on. Listen, nobody's life is perfect. Alana and I have a son with autism. That can be disruptive, and that can mean that at certain times of the day, maybe our full attention and impact isn't on this business, but it's never a secondary interest. Alana and I know where we want to take this, know that we surround ourselves with people who want to make it happen, and we know where we're going. So even though we have disruptions in our life, doesn't necessarily mean that we put things on a back burner. We have to have the interest, and then that interest has to feed over into the commitment. Interest without commitment is not going to work, guys. How would they handle a tough situation? If somebody's never been rejected before, so for example, if they've been in a W-2 job and they've never had to go out and manufacture demand for products, services, meetings, things like that, they're going to face rejection. How do they face rejection? Do they just wither up and they just can't do anything else? Do they laugh it off? Do they use it as fuel and motivation to prove that person who just rejected them wrong? Tough situations are going to come up. Being an entrepreneur means you're a problem solver. If you can't solve problems, or you get all upset about solving problems or solving other people's problems, probably the partner is not going to be a good prospect to bring in. What questions do they have for me? I get scared when I'm talking to a potential partner and they have absolutely no questions. You should have some detailed questions, that you want answered to make a definitive, determination. Can I commit to this company? Can I commit to the time? Can I commit to this team? Once again, if they have no questions, that's a leading indicator. They really, haven't really looked at this business, haven't looked at the opportunity, haven't reviewed the material enough to really be a partner that we want to bring in. Are they willing to do everything necessary to be successful? So once again, it's a very easy formula. Where is the person now? Where does the person want to be? How are they going to get there? What are they willing to do to actually get there? And how do we fit in? If somebody's not willing to do the things to be successful, guess what? They're not going to be successful. They're not going to be a good partner. And then the question is, do I really need this partner? Don't bring people in just to get a number up to say, hey, great, I got a partner. Bring in qualified partners that you think are going to be dedicated distribution partners, and put the time, energy, resources, money behind them to develop them into independence. That's what really this is all about. You don't need the partner and you can extract value and pivot over to the client side, do it. If you don't need the partner and there's no value to extract, don't pivot just for the sake of pivoting. Go ahead and close the conversation. What happens if we can't work it out? Are they going to be, that person that, it was a total waste of time? Are they going to continue to waste your time even after they're gone with stupid questions? Are they going to be somebody who's going to be upset if it doesn't work out? Remember, people get upset when things don't work out, especially if they know they haven't done enough on the front side, because what happens is they don't want to accept that as the truth. They start to justify, I didn't have everything I needed to be successful. They didn't do this. It's not about themselves. It's about the outside world and how it wasn't in a place to make them successful. So that's a little bit about, when you're looking at partners, once again, disqualify on the front side, and make sure there's expectations, just like we talked about last week, the expectations that we have for the client. We also have expectations for the partners that are, even more important. So when you're out there, if you're marketing directly, that's fine. What I find a lot easier is networking. I just like talking to people, find out what they do. And if there's some way I can possibly help them or they can help me, that comes up in the conversation. But I don't go into conversations trying to jam stuff down people's throat. I'm trying to find out, once again, in that formula that we talk about, where are they, where they want to go, how do they get there, what are they willing to do, how I fit in. That's the kind of the crux or the foundation or the outline of a networking conversation. So if you're not networking enough, then you're not, providing enough communication and enough activity through networking to build the pipeline and build the type of network that you're looking for. Your brand, you got to live it every single day. And the more that you're out there living your brand, being excited about your brand, creating a positive impact, just doing the things that you need to do. And on top of it, showing people that you're having fun along the way. Listen, people, especially on the partner side, they're attracted to people that A, they think that can help them lead them to their own personal goals, and B, they actually want to be around. On social media, guys, we talked about this before, that great picture and that story of transformation really works well online. But guess what? In oral or verbal communication and conversation, you don't have the picture, you can still tell the story. So when you're out there, what have you been able to do for other people? How have you helped other people? Put that in story-like format, and it's easier to get a conversation going that engages the other side. Just pushing facts down somebody's throat doesn't engage them from the other side. Having a story that they get involved with, they ask questions about, that's engaging. Same thing with online. When you're talking about, marketing, when you're talking about social media marketing, people aren't buying goods and services. They're buying relation stories and magic. So the better that you get at storytelling, the better that you get at building your brand, being authentic, getting the engagement that you're looking for, the easier it is to do the last step, which is sell. You got to build an audience. You got to engage the audience. You got to sell the audience. If you just build and sell without engaging, you're going to find that sale is little to none. And also, one of the things that we don't want people to feel dumb, and we don't want them to feel like they, have been making bad decisions throughout life, even though that we know they have. Remember, good marketing makes us, the company, look smart. Great marketing makes the customer feel smart. And making the customer feel smart, making the customer feel like they can get empowered, that draws people in. Just telling people, hey, you're dumb, you've been doing this, you've been taken advantage of. Those are negative connotations and negative associations. You want to make sure somebody understands that there's opportunity to do what they want to do. We've got the answers on our side. Subject lines matter. If you have great calls to action in your email and you've got some great content, but the subject line sucks so much that nobody opens it, well, just like if there's a great body in the email, but nobody opens it, nobody reads it, right? So these subject line, they have to be grabbing. They have to be something that, that we get a lot of emails every day. So look at the ones, especially from people that maybe you don't know, that you tend to open, and start to get yourself like just a Word document or something. Start to collect some subject lines that you find attractive that you would open, and integrate those into your own marketing. Momentum goes both ways. If you have zero momentum in your business, it feels like the walls are closing in. And then guess what? You start looking at that calendar, there's white space, you start drifting. Oh, this isn't for me, I can't do it, quit. Momentum works the other way too. And this is how I want it to work. The marketing, the conversations, recruiting, sales, activity. Just like money compounds, so does activity. So if you start to have the activity and you let it compound, remember, nothing that you do, you have to give it 90 days really to make data-driven decisions. Anything before 90 days about anything you're doing, just emotional decisions. Emotional decisions lead us to bad places. Cash flow. So for you guys, the momentum that we were just talking about also creates momentum in cash flow. And for potential business partners or potential clients, one of the things that we really specialize in is cash flow. We understand cash flow is the health of a business, the health of our personal finance, the health of our business, our own partnerships. So when we're out there talking, we're understanding the value of cash flow, and we're speaking in terms of cash flow. You've got to invest in yourself. And we talk about the fact that if somebody has no money to invest in their business, they need to invest in activity, but you have to find some way to invest in yourself to get the growth that you're looking for. And on the activity side, you can't get wealthy. I pulled this off LinkedIn today as a Grant Cardone post. You can't get wealthy without connecting to other people. The more people you know, the more deals will flow. So contacts equal contracts. And once again, on the front side, if you're doing nothing to have the activity and the communication and conversation, you can't expect anything on the back side. So you got to make the investment in yourself, whether that be financial, whether that be time, which is your most valuable investment and valuable resource. And then once you're able to do that, you can invest in others. If you haven't gone through, the ups and downs, the roadblocks and obstacles of getting this up off the ground, then how are you going to teach other people to do it? So what we want to do is you lean on us in the beginning. We'll help you, your partners, your clients. And then from that process, you're starting to understand what needs to be done in order to effectively manage other people. Like I said, the activity has to come. And one of the things that we see in a business model like this, where there's some new stuff, is that people don't lean on us. And what they try to do is they'll sit back. I got to know this. I got to know this. I got to know everything before I start. And that's just a veiled form of procrastination. Your mind's just going on autopilot. It doesn't want to do the uncomfortable stuff. So it's going to revert back to that comfortable stuff, which is not talking to people, not having activity, just reading, watching videos, basically wasting time. Your partners have to start. Get the rocks out of your mouth. Like, Facebook's motto was move fast and break stuff. That's the learning curve. It comes from activity. It does come from reading documents and watching videos. We've got a pretty simple business model here. Our marketing with value-added propositions on the front side leads to education, leads to sales. So what you're trying to do on the front side is give somebody something of value and then get them in an education meeting. If you get good at manufacturing the pipeline of leads from giving away valuable information, we can help you manage that pipeline and to the point that you say, hey, I've got this. I don't need your help anymore. The persona of who you're going after is so important, guys. If you identify, and we talk about this time and time again, if you identify who you want as a potential client, who you want as a potential partner, and you really study that person, what are their problems? What are their perceived problems? Where are you going to find these people? And finally, what's that message that's going to resonate? Having them raise their hand. Yes, I want more information about this. Yes, I want to talk to you about this. And that comes from front loading your business. So we just talked about the fact that, if nobody knows you're in business, you're not going to do any business. If you do what we're asking you to do, which is front load your business. And we always talk about if you're giving away a how-to guide and you can't go out there in the marketplace and give away how-to guides, not really going to be able to do anything else. We try to make this as easy as possible. You front load your business with prospects. Everything else will take care of what it needs to take care of. And like I said, this is what we've done for you guys. So we made it easy. It's not about pitching, selling, recruiting. It's about identifying people, letting them know what you do and what you can possibly do for them. And it's a free guide step by step. Go here, take it. That creates the lead. And then from the leads, you've got to have a follow-up strategy. Now we have some great automation in our funnel system. However, having enough leads come through mine and Alana's account since we started doing this, I can tell there's a couple of things, and this is some good advice. There is automation in there, but if you just wait for the automation to do its job, the more communication that comes back from that automation in terms of going out to the client or partner without some type of personal introduction, communication, it becomes more stale and they'll stop, they'll unsubscribe. So when you get a lead, yes, there's automation in there, but reach out to them, introduce yourself and make sure they know there's a person behind all of this. That's going to create an appointment funnel. All we are asking for is for appointments that are education appointments. And we know everything else leads to that, whether I'm talking to a potential business partner or a potential client. The funnel that we have creates appointments, and those appointments allow us to create a personal plan for us and our agents that takes away the deficiencies, for example, if we're talking insurance, of many of the insurance agents, which is lack of appointments, lack of lead flow, lack of cash flow, right? That cash flow is a roller coaster. It's really hard to understand your business and make those data-driven decisions about how to grow it. So a personal plan, 12 to 15 appointments per week. What is an appointment? Someone with a reason to do something. As those appointments start to pile up, guess what? Either you, the educator, whoever's working those appointments, the more reps they get, the more people they talk to, the better they're going to get at their practice, and they're going to get consistent. And once you're consistent as an educator, once you're consistent as a marketer, once you're consistent as a manager, this business becomes very, very, very easy, guys. Boring makes you money. And this is one of the things that, you have to understand. It's not about being excited and having all this excitement around you every day. Yes, we talk about find something about your business every single day that makes you excited. But, just like, for example, If you've ever been in like a huge poker tournament or something and had to whittle that field down, the beginning stages of a poker tournament, very, very boring. Same thing here. It's just the daily activity, the follow-up, the methodical approach. You know that your business, especially in the beginning, is a contact business. That's your number one priority. If you do that, you're going to manufacture the leads. You have a great deal of help that will help you turn those into revenue and income. This business, it works. And we've proven that it works. So if your business is struggling, it comes from probably a lack of focus, a lack of positivity. They're going to equal issues that you start dwelling on. Got to fix yourself. And once you fix yourself, it's a lot easier to go out and manage other people to identify what's happening and help them along the way. It's also very easy to understand that if you want more out of this business, you just have to do more. Multiply your efforts, multiply the results. We're not in the business of just random indirect activity and going this way or that way. We understand we're dialed in. And when we're dialed in, we understand if we do more within that persona, within that activity, we're going to get more out of it. The roadblocks that we have as business partners, as clients, usually come from internal. It's something that's going on within ourselves that are creating these roadblocks and obstacles that we've got to overcome. Sometimes it can be as easy as just excuses. And for somebody who has a dream, a goal, something they're trying to accomplish, it's A or B. Something's going to win out: your goal or your dream or your excuses. And it's people don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. The other thing is the fear. It's the fear factor, the fear of change, the fear of the unknown. You're going to go out and you're going to make mistakes and you're going to have things happen. You learn from those mistakes. So anybody who is afraid of the unknown, afraid of making mistakes, afraid of getting rejected, that's not somebody you want to bring in and put time in as a partner. We talk about times to be calm and kind of be patient. We also talk about times to be aggressive. If you're aggressive right now in this business build out, you've got an unbelievable opportunity to lay the foundations for what will be a huge company over the next few years. The ground floor always gets paid the best in terms of build out. So that's all we have for you guys this week.